What's up, guys? How's it going? So it is the Sunfire Castle event, which, as you might imagine, yeah, that went about as well as you might expect. Think of this as kind of like the event that dictates what your future leader of your state will be, right? The event itself went all right. It's basically Sunfire Castle. The one thing I didn't really fully understand, was basically the turrets. In order to reset them, right? You basically have to kick everybody out in under a minute before the turret timer ends, and then you boot yourself out. you know, a couple of things that obviously, with TUA holding the castle, that was kind of how it was arranged in the Sunfire Castle event for us, at least in 467. And I can show you a report here towards the end of like the only hit that I actually had to take on the turret. But most of the fighting, if anything, was mostly strictly political. There was a lot of turmoil internally within the alliance over who should get that castle. A lot of people internally were like, well, it should be ours. And then there were other people that were like, well, but at the same time, you have to think in terms of the long-term play when you hit Sunfire Castle. This might not apply to every alliance, may not even apply to every state, but here's the play. You can either have allies or have none at all. You can either have friends or none at all. And in the long term, you often find yourself struggling to grip with that. In the middle of a Sunfire Castle event, unfortunately, a large portion of our team wasn't so convinced that this was in their best interest. And then a lot of it comes down to the fact that it's like, to get points in the middle of Sunfire Castle, right? You've got to be holding a turret for long enough periods of time where you get occupation points. And then you also have to assumably get hit in order to get casualty points. Now, obviously, the only alliance taking control here is TUA, so TUA is the only one benefiting from all the points sitting inside the castle. And because we're taking over the turrets and then dropping out periodically, which is approximately 2 minutes or so, it was a kind of a struggle for some of the members, in some ways, because they're looking at this and going, how am I going to get any points? How am I going to get anything? And the thing is, the only thing you'll gain from Sunfire Castle of any value is actually really simple. It's just charms. And even then, it's not like you're going to get a whole lot of charms. And so, as you can see here, this is basically what you have to do in order to drop the turret. You just have to release everybody manually at a time. That was okay at first, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started doing it, I was doing it all wrong. I was like, well, the timer's counting down. How do I do this? Do I kick them out, or do I kick myself out? Obviously, I kicked myself out starting out, thinking, that'll do the trick. And no. But one of the things that I can say, at least diplomatically, right? People got to really know their battles. You got to know that, okay, if you go against, say, one alliance, and you know that they're going to be fighting for the castle, and you have an option to have allies versus not. A lot of people forget that not long after this event, there's state versus state. And it's like, okay, you want to start a scuffle and a fight with another alliance. You're already at war with a couple of others, right? You're already in a position where you're looked down upon. And you suggest the idea that let's just go ahead and hit another one at it and just add to that list. And it's like after a certain point, you're either going to isolate yourself to the point where there is no one else, and then you got yourself a problem, right? Or you get to the point where you're defeated. And so we kind of thought about this in a very strategic way. We looked at it and said, I'd rather have allies than not. So let's just let it slide, like, heck, it's just a castle at the end of the day. Now, like anything, I will say that, the people that are spending in this game, right? The bat in particular, I'm going to estimate it's probably got about 20, maybe 10 to $15,000. Because I know with some certainty that his stats are way up. He's got a lot of troops. Anybody that's got mythic gear, you can almost guarantee they've got $1,000 into the game. So for concept, you know, I can show you like this one hit, and this is why nobody was gonna go hit the castle. Not even I was gonna hit the castle. Okay, compared to that green guy, look at that. I look at 1,500 lost to 155,000 injured, and that's the difference.